Welcome aboard, everybody. I'm your pilot wannabe for today's very brief flight. We're in Cottonwood, Arizona, and we're just going to fly over to Sedona. And the main purpose of the flight today is to talk about the state of Flight Simulator 2024. So, yeah, it's probably going to be mostly negative, but we'll see. All right, well, we'll go to the flight plan and I'll see you there. Okay, here we are in Sky Vector, of course. It says it's going to be a 5-minute flight. So obviously, starting the plane and taxiing is probably going to take longer than the amount of time we're actually in the air. But I was trying to keep it short this time, maybe make up for the ridiculous length of my previous video. But yeah, we're going for P52 is the Cottonwood Airport, and going to Sedona, KSEZ. On Flight Simulator 2020, I had an add-on better scenery deal on Sedona, and it looked really nice. And I tried to fly around Sedona a little bit in Flight Simulator 2024, but when I tried it, it was so buggy at the time. I didn't really look around very much. Well, we'll see if it goes any better today. I don't exactly have high hopes for it, but both of these airports are quite high elevation already, which shouldn't matter because we're going to be in the Grand Duke today with its turbocharged engines and everything. But yeah, Cottonwood is 3,560 feet. Doesn't have a control tower. Has comparatively cheap aviation fuel, according to the little ad over here. $5.49 a gallon for 100 is pretty good. It's got a big runway, 4,200 feet. Not much else to talk about. I think we're probably taking off on runway 32. I don't know. I might look at the windsock before deciding, or we could listen to the weather at the airport. We'll see. But Sedona, pretty famous airport for private pilots. Sort of a place that everybody wants to be able to fly into at least once. It's at 4,830 feet above sea level. No control tower. Runway is over 5,000 feet long. It's kind of uphill one direction, if I'm remembering correctly. Runway 03 is the uphill direction, and you know, all things being neutral wind wise, you would typically want to land on 03, but then take off the other way on 21. So you're going downhill, but of course, depends on the wind. And then I believe it's a right-hand traffic pattern, depending on which runway you're hitting, so that you're not getting tangled up in some mountain peaks nearby. I don't remember which way it is. Well, we're just winging this today, as usual. You know, I typically don't have a very specific ironclad plan that we're following. So anyway, I'll see you back at the plane. Okay, everybody, we're back at the plane. Since the main goal of this video is to essentially complain about Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, I should start with the fact that it took me several minutes to get back to the plane, basically, because when I got back, I did the Shift and C to get back inside the plane so that I could access the drone camera, because apparently you can't go from the walking around in your avatar mode here to sorry, I'm looking for my shadow. I used to have a shadow. Oh, there it is. Oh, now it's gone. Anyway, kind of creepy. Anyway, you can't go directly to the drone camera from walking around, which I don't know. I feel like you should be able to do that. Anyway, so I got back in the plane, went to the drone camera so I could get a closer look at the windsock over there and determine which runway I'm legit going to take off from, because I've never been here before. Yeah, because I also wanted to see how the taxiways are laid out. Anyway, Um, so to begin with, the button that I had assigned to put me in the drone camera didn't work because it forgot that binding. I've had it forget that binding, I don't know, at least 3 or 4 times. And so I had to go back in the settings, and then I reset it to the button that I wanted it. And then even though that says toggle drone camera, it never toggles me back into the plane. It'll only take me from the plane, from the cockpit camera to the drone camera. It will never toggle me back for some reason. I have to go with the default button configuration to take me back, which is Shift X. Or is it Control X? I don't remember. Anyway, um, there's layers of complaints I have at the moment related to that stuff, but I should start getting the plane fired up because this was supposed to be a short video. And, it's going to be a 5-minute flight, but I'm going to bitch for 45 minutes, I guess. Anyway, let's get in the plane. I suppose I could edit out me getting it fired up, but if we'll see if I can talk and get the plane fired up at the same time. I'm not going to be. Now, see, okay, there's another complaint. No matter how many times I set that lock thing, okay, see the little white dot that's trying to reappear? I set it to where the white dot goes away, and that's fine. I don't want to see the white dot. But the white dot's still there, and if it rests on something, the moment it rests on something, see, it's not doing it now because I moved the mouse around. But if I rest that white dot on something, now I'm moving my throttle controls and nothing is happening. The yoke still moves. Let's see if the rudder pedals move. Rudder pedals are, oh yeah, the rudder pedals are not working right again. The whole nother issue that I'm going to have to fix. Anyway, so as soon as I move the mouse, it disengages that lock and then lets me do things. On Flight Simulator 2020, I could turn that off. That thing where the invisible dot in the center of the screen locks onto things. I could turn that off in 2020. Can't turn it off in 2024. Endlessly annoying. Okay, another thing to address here. I don't believe the rudder pedals are working right. Um, yeah, I'm moving the rudder pedals and I'm not getting any action. All right. I have new rudder pedals. I accidentally got honeycomb Charlie rudder pedals. I had ordered them a long, long time ago, right before the company started having issues, and I ordered them, and then I wasn't gonna be able to get them because the company was in trouble, and so I canceled the order. And then, lo and behold, a few days, I don't know, a week before Christmas or something, I all of a sudden still received them and also have the massive charge out of my account, which was really annoying. But by the time I knew what was going on, they were already out for delivery. So that just became my accidental Christmas present. But on the downside of things, every time I fire up Flight Simulator 2024, the pedals are not working. They're fine on 2020, of course. Oh yeah, none of this works. Okay, so you're in here where you're supposed to be able to adjust the sensitivities, except this little dot here that's supposed to demonstrate how things are moving, it never ever moves. I mean, I've gone ahead and adjusted a couple of the sensitivities based on what I believe uh, these axes are, but I can't ever make this dot move. So I don't know what the story is there. Oh, I'm realizing now the way I have to fix the pedals. Yeah, let's get out of this. Okay, while we're here though, like I said, there's layers of complaints here. I still really hate this pause screen. There's no reason for this. There's no reason it can't still just bring up a pause menu and leave your view inside the cockpit. That whole zooming out a couple hundred feet away from your plane and making you motion sick. Yeah, there's no reason for that. That's unnecessarily fancy. and unnecessary. You know, it's not very good performance for that. It's all janky when it does do that. It's annoying. Trying to figure out what I gotta unplug here to fix my pedals. So I'll unplug everything. Okay, I had to cut away and reset everything, it turns out. But I wanted to jump in real quick and complain about this loading screen. Also too fancy. I, I I don't know. We don't need to see all of this over and over again. It's getting pretty old. Not to mention that sometimes it runs really chunky. It's running pretty smooth right now, but lots of times it runs real chunky, and it's on the borderline of aggravating my motion sickness that I could possibly have while playing video games, or Flight Simulator, because it just is suddenly cutting away and the camera's always moving. Anyway, just wanted to complain about that while we were here. I'll be right back with some more complaints, I'm sure. Okay, maybe a third time's the charm. Um, I've had to restart the whole system a couple times and unplug things and plug things back in and reset controls, and it's just been crazy. I'm gonna see if I can start this thing up fast and dirty, and I'm not even gonna move it. Usually I move it to get it away from these clowns that we're always stuck with, but I'll just go ahead and clip that guy with my wing on my way out, assuming we actually get that far. So back in the plane, and yeah, had a lot of strange stuff happen. Wasn't even all the stuff that I normally complain about. But yeah, I'll go ahead and edit out the starting it up, and I'll get back with you guys when we're ready to fly. Okay, folks, I've got it fired up. It's not exactly warmed up yet, but just wanted to point out another complaint I have here. Actually, we'll test it and see if maybe by chance it's working yet, but I kind of doubt it. I really like the 750, and what is this, 450? Let's see, it says on the tablet here. 650. Yeah, 750 and 650. I'm dubious about their measuring system. I guess maybe this is 750 from this corner to this corner, and this is 650 from this corner to this corner. That seems like you're changing the rules. Anyway, last few times I've tried to use a 750, it wasn't possible to actually do a course with it because it wouldn't let you actually enter anything. So here I will demonstrate. Let's go into flight plan, and our origin is P52, right? So P52, and enter just isn't an option. So there's no way to enter an origin or a destination or direct to or nothing. The enter button is always just defunct. So even though it appears to be a functioning 750 and 650, it is not. So we are going to change it to the 530 and the 430. Confirm. This will probably take a second since it's mid-flight here. Well, not flight, but you know what I'm saying. It's already fired up. Okay, we'll give that a second to make sure it's all caught up. And we'll go ahead and turn on the transponder. I already turned on the heat. It was like 58 degrees in the cabin. It's not that cold here in Arizona. Sometimes in these high elevations, the high country in Arizona, in the wintertime, it can be fairly chilly. But I think it's yeah, look, it's in the 50s Fahrenheit and in the what, teens Celsius. So yeah, not too bad. Let's see if we can do a flight plan real quick in the 530. Flight plan. Yeah, I probably should have edited this out too because I wanted to make this fast. let's see, our origin is, I'm not going to bother trying to do the keyboard thing because it still does that thing where when I hit enter, it kills the engines. Element, no, P 5, 2, enter. And we're going to K. They used to start with a K on their own. K. Now we're going to go backwards. S. E. Z. Whoops. Passed it. That's that on the flight plan. Wasn't that easy. Okay. I'll just leave those that way for now. We're not going to mess with the weather radar. It all looks pretty clear and sunny for the most part. It's already on 1200. Sure. Let's see, the taxi light switch actually works on my honeycomb. And I think the landing light switch works too, but all the other ones don't work because these 2 or 3 position switches. Right now we're just on beacon. I'm going to put it on nav, so we're at nav and beacon and taxi. Then when we go to fly, we just switch to strobe and nav and beacon and recognition. I don't know why it's this way. And I wish there was a way to do these 3 position switches in the honeycomb, but there doesn't seem to be. Let's see, we don't need that. Oh, pitch trim, let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, like I said, I'm doing this super fast and dirty. We may not even do a run up. We might just hit the road. And of course, we're going to run this guy over. We're also, okay, let's check the weather so I can at least get the pressure. Oh, it didn't come up. Okay. One of my many complaints. Okay. We're going to do 2 complaints right now. First of all, when I hit the pause button, as I said, it doesn't need to do this fancy flying backwards and making the sound and all that. It's just unnecessary BS. There's no reason for this. Now, my other complaint is almost every time, and that's the thing, it's not even consistent. It doesn't even screw up consistently. Almost all the time, when I first fire up Simulator 2024, I go in here and the controls are not the way I set them. I've set all these different controls and I've renamed them, and I'm probably not using this this whole setup to its fullest potential. Because I mean, how can you learn something when it's constantly screwing up? It makes it difficult to really get anywhere. Anyway, almost every time I log in, these have all reverted back to their defaults. But not always. Sometimes they don't. This time, today, when I first logged in, this one was fine. This one was fine. This one was fine. But the keyboard, oh, look, it's the keyboard is reverted back to its here. That because I logged in and again I had to restart the whole sim again. Yeah, the keyboard likes to resort back to its default settings. The mouse does sometimes. The controller does quite a bit too. The controller reverts back to its default settings. Why? Why, people? Why is this happening? Something that shouldn't have to happen. Yeah, and this whole revolving camera and everything while it's on pause and then it's got to load all the data back in when you come back into the plane. No, we don't need that. Save the glitz, the glitz and fancy stuff, and make it work like it's supposed to. Once it's working like it's supposed to, then maybe we can do some glitzy stuff. Because you've got all this glitz and glitch, and not enough stability. I'm a little more upset about this than I really thought I was, apparently. Okay, so as it happens, I can never use the switch on my Honeycomb Bravo that I have set for the parking brake. I can use it to turn the parking brake off, but when I use it to turn the parking brake on, then every time I move the camera around, the parking brake is going on and off inexplicably. No idea why. It just does. So I'll use it to turn the parking brake off because it works for that. I mean, I guess I should be happy that it's just the parking brake that works that way and not like the landing gear or something like that. That would be a real problem. Oh, I forgot why we even started this. I was wanting to get the weather, and the button's still not responding. I have a button to bring up the ATC window, and it's just not responding because that's how it is. Oh, we don't have weather here. Oh, okay, fine. P52. Look it up on my phone. Getting relentlessly texted from work, so that's not helping matters any. I've only got about an hour to do this before I have to go to work. P52. How's the weather? P52. Okay, 3012 is our barometric pressure. So let's do that. 3012. All right. Wind is none, so that's fine. I'm going to hit the closest runway here, which was what I was wanting to do anyway. So let's see how we doing on. Yeah, the temperatures are up. The cylinder head temperature's not up, but I'll just wonder if we can bring the cylinder head temperature up by doing a run up. Bring it up a little bit before we try to take off. I have to say, these new rudder pedals feel really good once I get them, actually working. Okay, I'm gonna go full on the mixture. Oh, I'm gonna set the parking brake. Set the parking brake. 1800 on the RPMs, I believe, for just a regular run up. This is a high elevation airport, and if this was not a turbocharged plane, I probably wouldn't go full on the mixture, but it should be okay. Let's do the magneto check here. Yeah, magneto's drop a couple hundred, yeah, like a couple hundred RPMs. But hey, they're consistent, so there's that. Okay. Now exercising the props. And, if I was going through the little checklist, I was supposed to cross-feed the engines, and I'm supposed to do a variety of other things, and, I didn't think about addressing the pressurization. I'm not sure I feel like dealing with that. You know what? I'm just going to hit the dump switch and open these up. So we're going unpressurized today. Okay, I was definitely splitting my focus there. Okay, let's turn off the taxi lights, turn on the landing lights, and we'll switch these over to strobe and beacon and all that fun stuff. What else do we need to do before takeoff? See, the cowl flaps are open. I already saw that. My switch does work for turning on the pumps. Yeah, we're just doing this fast and dirty. Okay, let's get going. Oh, did I release parking brake? I don't think I did. There we go. Release the parking brake. Turning on the fuel pumps. Cylinder head temperature still didn't really come up. That's okay. We'll just roll on the power gently. Oh yeah. I'm not happy with my view in the cockpit of this plane. And at some point, I had gotten it worked out to where I was able to change the cockpit views and save them. Oh, look at that sign in the middle of the runway. That's fun. Let's get off the ground. Okay, we're up. Tapping the brakes, raising the landing gear. I never did put flaps down, but I'm making sure they're up now. We're going to make a left turn to get on the magenta line. I'm going to turn off the landing lights. And turn off the fuel pumps. And start turning left. Going to back the manifold pressure off to around 35 psi and the RPMs down to around 27. We're not going to get very high for this because it's not very long. I mean, we're high, somewhat high compared to sea level, but yeah. Get very high otherwise. I'd like to go around 5,000 feet. Assuming 5,000 feet will clear the terrain up there. Okay, never mind. Let's go to 6,000 feet, shall we? Matter of fact, let's go ahead and set this to 6,000 feet. Let's move our, what you call it over here? And we will turn on the autopilot so I can talk. Okay, we're on heading. And why are we not on attitude? There we go. Okay. I feel like this is a poor attitude. Okay, down, 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 down. Why is it going? Oh, why do I have to have these things happen? Okay, get the nose down. There we go. Oh my God. No, the autopilot didn't stay on. I hit the button to turn the autopilot on and nothing happened. Autopilot. Oh, and it's going back down to the altitude because it went berserk already. Now, this is really nutty. I got these blinking at me. Anyway. What was I complaining about? It's hard to tell. There's so much. As far as how the simulator looks, it does look really good. Matter of fact, this here looks especially good because the main problem I've been having with the simulator's appearance, which we're going to switch this to nav mode now, or at least try to. Yeah, the autopilot buttons are just not responding. My physical autopilot buttons are not responding. Anyway, yeah, it looks really good here. But the problem I've been having with its appearance is that it'll typically look really good in a bubble of about a mile to 1.5 miles nautical miles around you. The ground will look really good. And then as soon as you look up a little bit, it all falls apart. There's all kinds of pop up on the buildings and terrain and draw in and everything, and very, very noticeable. But this area is looking really nice, actually. This isn't too bad. I might end up hitting some of these mountains. We'll see. Let's. Where'd I go? I wanted the terrain one. Yeah. It says all of that up ahead is higher than we are currently. Isn't that interesting? And yet we're only how far from our destination? We're only 3.5 miles from our destination. I'm not going to climb anymore, obviously. And I'm also going to bring the throttles way back because we... Oh, I landed. See? Throttles weren't responding because the center of my screen landed on this stupid little volume knob right here. And so I'm moving the throttles and nothing's happening. It's a bunch of bullshit that you can't disengage that, turn that off, do away with that. It's ridiculous. They better find a way to fix that because there's no reason for it. There's no reason when I have a mouse hooked to my Xbox Oh, there was happening again. There's no reason when I have a mouse hooked to my Xbox that I should have to deal with that. It's a bunch of crap. Okay, now back to the previous thing I was complaining about, the cockpit camera. I would really love for the cockpit camera to be about here. And there was a time when it was letting me save it. Why is there no magenta line on here? Anybody know why? Why there's no magenta line? Oh, because I flew over the airport already. Yeah, that's what happens when it's a super short flight and I'm trying to talk too much. Okay. I'm assuming that we don't have much wind here in Sedona either. So I'm going to set us up to land on runway 303. Okay, wow. What's with all the loss of altitude there? Yeah, I gotta say Sedona looks really good. Yeah, it looks all right. Okay, so one of the things I was going to complain about, I can't really complain about, and that's how the draw-in and pop-up was terrible. And I really lost track of the airport here. Plus, I cannot get this bird to fly level for nothing. I'll give it some more power. Maybe that'll help. Yeah, so one of the things I was going to complain about was the appearance, which is supposed to be, you know, like kind of the main thing about Simulator 2024. And I wasn't being impressed with the appearance because of all the pop-up and everything. Get that out of the way so I can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so that's going to be the runway heading? Sure. Okay, there it is. Oh, I'm actually a little low. Yeah, but Sedona looks really good. So I would like to change my camera view, and like I said, for a little while there, it was allowing me to reset the, you know, standard VFR cockpit camera, and then now for whatever reason it won't let me reset it. It goes through all the motions like I'm actually saving the new camera location. But then when I hit the button to reset the camera, it goes back to the default head down position that I don't like. Like I said, I would like it to be back here a little bit and looking up a little bit, you know, like your head's level. But instead it insists on you having your head tilted forward a little bit for some reason. And I don't like it. Okay, I guess we'll come around for a base. Now, I haven't done any flaps yet. I put the landing gear out and figured that was enough to control our speed. We're well below flap speed. As a matter of fact, I got to make sure I don't do the graveyard turn here and stall in the turn to final, because we're going plenty slow enough. Yeah, I'm going to turn the fuel pumps back on and the landing lights back on. That was a short flight. Oh, yeah. Okay, now we're going to really test the graveyard turn here. I'm going, wow, see, oh, getting chunky. Okay, that's another thing I was going to talk about. Especially when you're getting close to the ground. I way overshot the runway here. Full on the props, full on the mixture. First takeoff and approach flaps. Yeah, it usually gets real chunky when you're close to the ground. It's performing remarkably well today. I mean, when I flew a little bit the other day and it was horrible. It was so chunky I could barely land because it was just chunking out massively, and if anything was more than a nautical mile away, it looked like trash. And so today it's just proving me wrong. This is still an ugly landing. I could blame it on the You know, the other day I could blame it on the chunky frame rate, but today it's just me. Okay, flaps up, pumps off. It is still getting chunky. Just I don't know if you just saw that where the frame rate was being chunky. Should give it a little throttle, keep the engines running, yeah. Okay, well, here we are in Sedona. Uh, yeah, so it does look pretty today, and it ran mostly smooth. The pole seems like it's in an inconvenient location. Okay, let me get the throttles up a little bit. Okay, that might have been too much. Okay, getting the throttles up and leaning the mixture for taxiing until I see the RPMs go down. There we go. Oh, we might as well turn off the transponder. Already turned off the pumps. Let's switch to beacon and nav and turn the landing lights back off. Yeah, I already turned the pumps off. Yeah, that should be everything, right? But yeah, it won't let me resave. Well, that might be too loud, I guess. I don't know. It won't let me change the cockpit position, camera position here, which is super annoying. Because I don't like this head down thing. I understand that it's trying to give me the most information, because I'm seeing more of the panel in the top of the screen is at the top of the windshield. There's nothing really, up there that I need to worry about seeing, except I want to feel like my head is level, and right now it feels like my head is tilted down. And we're gonna go right through this stupid van, and for whatever reason, it won't let me change it. And then the fact that the control settings, the way the control settings revert to default randomly. I'd almost have more respect for it if all of the controls reverted to default all of the time. Then I'd be like, okay, that's just something they're going to have to fix at some point. But the fact that some of the controls, the controller one will go back to default, the keyboard one almost universally always goes back to default control settings. But then the mouse and the controller are the most likely ones to the next most likely ones to revert to default settings. And all of that is, I mean, besides it being super annoying, it's super annoying to me that it's random. That it doesn't always revert to default. Oh, and then the next unforgivable thing is the fact that sometimes it doesn't save key bindings and I have to redo key bindings. Again, this seems to happen most often with the keyboard, where the settings I've chosen for the keyboard don't stick. That to me is just unforgivable, that you have to re-save key bindings every time you fire up the simulator. This is all, obviously in the Xbox. I'll put something in the title for sure, for sure description, maybe on the thumbnail, that obviously this is all Xbox. I don't know what PC people are going through. I'm sure they're going through some of the same hell, some of their own individual hell, but yeah, they really need to work on this. This was really they really released a work in progress. I'm glad that I got it on Game Pass instead of, actually coughing up money for it. I suppose I should be shutting this plane down probably. Let's turn off the avionics master, the inverter, the idle throttles. Let's kill the mixture. magnetos, kill the generators, kill the main power, and we'll pretend to get out of the plane, even though when I hit the button to get out of the plane, it's gonna jam me up against the right engine for some reason. See, it sticks you right behind the prop on the right engine for some reason. Not sure. Not sure why it does that. But yeah, I know I didn't park in the T. I should have, I guess. I always overestimate how wide my plane is. Anyway, not that you can run into these other planes. They're all intangible, but still. Yeah. Okay. So I was going to complain about a lot of stuff. I was going to complain about how the simulator looked, and of course it did pretty well today. I mean, there was a little chunkiness, but there was not really any pop-up or draw-in. Maybe it's because I was in a. I mean, I was going to say maybe it's because I wasn't in like an urban, like a city environment, but but I mean, I've noticed it just with the terrain before too, and it just looks really good here. Maybe they did a little extra work in this area. If I can switch to the drone camera, maybe we can look around just a bit. Let's see if it actually saved my button. Okay, it did. Wow, it saved it this time. About every other time I log in, I have to re-save the key binding to go to the drone camera. Plus, it says toggle drone camera, but it's a lie because that same button will never let me back in to the cockpit. I have to go with the default button combination to get back in the cockpit. But let's see. Yeah, it looks really good here. Oh, well, still a little chunkiness, but man, yeah, Sedona looks really good. It does. But still, I have a lot of complaints. So we're probably going to go back to 2020 for Flight Simulator 2020 for several upcoming videos. I'll keep coming back to Simulator 24 and see if it's improved any. But for the time being, oh, and then another thing, they said we would be able to like if we just have the stock, not stock, but the base version of the simulator. The aircraft that come with the higher versions, we would be able to buy them individually through the marketplace. And when they said that, I thought that was great, except they didn't tell us that the marketplace wouldn't be open for who knows how long. So that's kind of annoying also. So yeah, this was definitely half baked, maybe more than half, I guess. No, yeah, pretty much half baked. This was half baked. It wasn't really ready. See, I hit the button and it won't go back. What did I say it was? Shift Z or Control Z or Control X? Let's try Shift X. Hey, that was it. Shift X. Yeah, because Shift C is to get in and out of the cockpit. Doesn't make any real sense to me, but whatever. I'm leaving it Shift C because that's also how you disengage the camera from your car in BeamNG, which is the only other thing I'm really playing these days. So anyway, so yeah, I'm kind of on the bandwagon here with everybody else that Simulator 24 wasn't really ready, but I guess they had to release it in 2024, otherwise they would have had to change the name. But I don't know, they could have been more upfront about the fact that yep, it's coming out in 2024, but it's definitely still a work in progress. You know, I don't know. I don't know. They do that with other games, you know. But c'est la vie. So with the next video, we'll probably do. I don't know. We'll do something in Simulator 2020. I haven't done a leg of the. Oh, that's loud. That's a loud van, and bouncy too. Anyway, we haven't done a leg of the around the world at the equator in the Learjet 35 in a while. Maybe we'll do something like that. Mix things up a little bit. I'll have to, relearn how to fly the Learjet again. It's the only problem with making videos. Back before I was making videos, I would pick a plane and I would fly that plane, half dozen or more times and really get into that plane, and then maybe move on to another one. But making videos, I feel like I shouldn't make too many videos in a row with the same plane. And so it's like I'm wanting to kind of revolve the planes all the time. I don't know. Maybe we'll do do a bit of the around the world at the equator. Because, yeah, haven't had an installment of that one in quite some time. I'll have to look back in my notebook and see where we even are. All right, folks. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I got to get ready for work. Turns out, oh yeah, very soon. I've got about, I don't know, half dozen unread texts related to work. Let's check those out. Anyway, well, I hope this video wasn't overly disjointed for you guys. Part of it was that the simulator's just not working right yet. I am still pretty sure that it's going to be really cool one day, but I mean, let's face it, 2020 still has some weird bugs. They're never really going to work out all the kinks, but it would be nice if we could get a little closer to a fully functional thing. I mean, I'm not even going to try the career mode with the way things are right now. All right, guys, this is Papa Whiskey Bravo signing off. See you next time.